Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhamad Aldzikri from class TBI 2D. Now I will explain the journal by the title The Effectiveness of Learning Madrasah in English Teaching and Learning. COVID-19 pandemic is considered as a global pandemic since February 2020 by World Health Organization (WHO). Its forced education system shift into online learning. E-learning madrasah as a tool for online teaching and learning process issued by Ministry of Religion Affairs are considered very effective and useful as online learning and teaching during COVID-19 pandemic. This study investigates students and teachers' perception and the effectiveness of learning madrasah in English teaching and learning. A mixed qualitative and quantitative method was used. Revealed 362 students and 13 teachers perception and the effectiveness of learning madrasah at Islamic State Junior High School (MTSN) in Lamongan Regency, East Java, Indonesia. The finding revealed that a learning madrasah as a tool in teaching and learning process is considered useful during COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Students are motivated to join their English class, and students perceived that this learning tool is easy to utilize as well. In terms of teacher perception indicates the same way as students. They perceive that this learning system as a tool of teaching and learning was very useful and easy to use. Also, they perceived that the system of this learning madrasah in terms of system was not difficult to be implemented in teaching and learning process. This research adopted the mixed method approach, namely descriptive qualitative approach and descriptive quantitative approach. The researchers administered descriptive qualitative research method to measure the effectiveness of a learning madrasah. Meanwhile, the descriptive quantitative method applied to investigate teachers and students' perception. Result and discussion: effectiveness toward using a learning madrasah. In order to address the first research questions, an analysis participants interview was conducted. The survey data show how the student perceived a learning madrasah experience. The survey data revealed that 217 out of 362, a third, students responded with like or positive response when asked regards to their opinion on online learning system. However, 149 students out of 362, a quarter, prefer with offline learning. Thus, the teachers should clearly inform students regard to the learning objectives and explain about the material. Another reason was because they did not like about a learning madrasah due to the lack of internet connection and the lack internet credit in their mobile phones. In terms of English learning, the students were asked how they would rate about a learning madrasah as English learning tool. These results show the most students, three-quarter, gave a positive rate for a learning madrasah as English learning tool, while a third of them gave a neutral rate. When students asked about their learning experience, use a learning madrasah to solve their problem. Most students share their positive experience, while a third of them respond otherwise. In other hand, when the students asked which one to choose between traditional class and online class, a half of them prefer choosing the traditional class. Meanwhile, they prefer choosing a traditional class, but the students a half agree that use learning madrasa during this pandemic could be better to assist their English learning be more successful in their study. Conclusion: a learning madrasa is function to facilitate the implementation of distance learning in order to ensure the challenges of increasing technological advance. A learning madrasa as a tool in teaching and learning process is considered useful during COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. Students are motivated to join their English class, and students perceive that this learning tool is easy to utilize as well. Meanwhile, in teacher perception indicate the same way as students. They perceive that this learning system as a tool teaching and learning was very useful and easy to use. Also, they perceived that the system of this learning madrasa in terms of system was not difficult to be implemented in teaching and learning process. Okay, that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.